Hi, welcome or welcome back to my channel. So I'm in a different room today and I've tried to angle the camera so that you can see all of the cards, but you won't be able to see all of the cards, but I will lift them up for you to see in the camera as we go. So this is looking like a very interesting one. It looks very soulmatey, not twin flame, but more like soulmate if you're into that kind of thing with labels and stuff. Basically what it looks like to me is a bit of a love connection type of situation going on here. We've got a lot to do with combining the spiritual and the material worlds as well. And a lot to do with choice too, and the challenges that can bring. I feel like there's been a bit of an energy of something really changing, something happening here. So let's get into it. So your current situation. This was a fabulous card to come out as current. This doesn't normally happen. They're not normally this positive straight away. Oh my God, I can't even pick it up off the table. So we have the Ten of Cups. Now this is a really lovely energy. It's an energy of harmony in relationships, of love. And like, can you see those two people together there looking very harmonious together? And there's some little children playing there, and there's lots to do with music and things like that. So perhaps music, if you are in a relationship right now, maybe music is an important factor in that relationship. But it does suggest that there's the current situation on your mind at the moment is to do with love, is to do with relationships and feeling that harmony with people in your life. So I'm really tempted. I don't want to put that back down because I don't want the same thing to happen again where I can't pick it up off the table. So let's see what rune is with your current situation right now. Lagers, flow, dreaming. Maybe this is something that you've been wanting to manifest for a little while. It's something that you've been dreaming about, hoping for, wishing for. And Lagers is kind of like where you're aligned with a particular flow of energy. So you are in a bit of a loving flow. So this might be that you are resonating completely with the person that you are interested in or in this particular connection with. There's an intuitive link as well I'm feeling from this. It's like perhaps you and this person have a bit of a telepathic thing going on. I do definitely feel like you have dreams about this person and that they dream about you. And I do feel this connection is more than just a surface level connection. So for instance, you might not be in contact at the moment in the 3D, or you might be, but you are on another level in the dream time. So it's almost like you're doing things together. I didn't want to say it like that, but maybe you are doing things together in your dream time. If you've had dreams like that, then you know this is feeling like the kind of connection. So if that resonates with you, this is definitely your reading today. Okay, so that is your current situation, which is absolutely beautiful. I love that. Now the challenge is the Tower. So what's that all about? Why is the challenge the Tower? Because the Tower kind of represents sudden changes, things sort of like that can just sort of like take you by surprise. And I do feel like this has taken you by surprise. Maybe how you feel about this connection has taken you by surprise. There is a little bit of rebellion around this as well. So the Tower could kind of suggest this sort of this, again, if you're getting lots of pain in your head and things like that, it could be that you are resisting the change that this is creating because it may cause a lot of upheaval in your life. You know, sudden changes aren't easy, and having an epiphany about something and realizing something might make things difficult for you in your life, especially maybe if you're already with somebody and you've just realized that you're actually in love with somebody else, that kind of thing. I've just turned this into a soap opera, didn't I? You know, quick turnaround. It's not even 5 minutes in. Let's see. So what do we have? What rune do we have that goes with your challenge with the Tower? We have Isa. So I do feel somebody has been trying to sort of keep this under wraps, maybe not allow this to happen. But there's a point where the ice breaks. And when the ice breaks, everything becomes known, becomes seen. Isa kind of represents our ego self sometimes. So this can be where the ego is like stopping you from moving forward in something. It's basically saying to you like, nah, we can't do this, or, you know, I don't want to admit this to myself. And I've got that kind of energy as the challenge here is like, there's something that you don't want to admit to yourself about this. And Isa is kind of suggesting to you like, you know, you're all up in your ego here, but there's a soul need that's kind of literally coming out, because as I said before, this reading feels to me like you are alchemizing your spiritual and material worlds together. I feel like perhaps before you've gone down the road of like, I need to be in my material world, but your spiritual side has started to creep in and give you these, perhaps you've had synchronicities or things happen that have just reminded you of this or made you think about this person perhaps, or this particular situation. And it's kind of like, once you see that, you can't unsee it. And I feel like you have been thinking about this for some time or mulling it over and wondering about it. And Issa's kind of suggesting to you now, it's like, this is suggesting there's a, you know, it's time to open the throat center. It's time to really start to speak about this, to let it out. So how interesting. What are we focusing on? So we've got the 9 of Pentacles as your focus point here. So what Spirit wants you to do at this point is keep working on yourself. But again, this card aligns the spiritual and the material world together. So it's like success on both levels. So this connection, it feels to me like it does bring that for you. It brings an alchemy of those two worlds together so that you feel really healthy and good in yourself. You know, really content with what you have. And I feel like that's kind of like what this is showing you, is sort of like, there's something coming to me of like, you don't know what you've got till it's gone. And it's almost like when you are fully content with what's with you, and that's kind of part of the energy of Issa, is just being content with where you are in the present moment, like really being in the moment. And that's what's being suggested to you here as your focus, is be in the moment and really enjoy every moment that you have, because you are going through this kind of like transformation, if you like, bringing your worlds together, bringing the spiritual and the material worlds together, because that's what needs to happen in your world. Let's get a rune to go with that. So with your focus, what rune do we have for you? Yeah, Nordies. So that's soul needs as well. So this is aligning you with your soul needs, being content with everything that you have so that you don't feel that restriction. Because when you're trying to go after something or you're resisting, I feel like that's more of the energy, is when you're resisting something that's actually aligned with your soul needs, you create a restriction in yourself. Perhaps you haven't been feeling very well lately, or you've been having a few illnesses and things. It's all trying to teach you and tell you you're resisting change of something that actually helps you align your physical and material worlds together. And that brings success. Okay. So it's all about accessing that energy. And that's come up quite a few times in readings lately. It really has. So I'm going to move into your past and leaving. So I'm trying to do this reading a little bit quicker than I normally do. So it's not like 45 minutes long anymore. So I'm dressed up. I'm all going out tonight. So I'm trying to do this a little bit quicker. Now, this is about your past and what you're leaving behind. And we've got the Hanged Man. Now, the Hanged Man is usually about difference of perspective. So taking a different perspective. When you're upside down, you see the world in a much different way. And this is about you, I feel, making a sacrifice in your life at this time and realigning your heart and your purpose. So I'm going to get a rune that goes with that, because once you let go of one thing, you can really embrace the new. But if you're still holding on to that thing, it doesn't allow you to actually move forward. We have manas on here. So this is about awareness, having that awareness of yourself. Again, this has come up a lot lately in readings. So if you watch a lot of my readings, it's more than likely I'm definitely talking to you if you watch them a lot. So this is that pulling that mask off, basically, so you can really see things for exactly as they are. And I do feel like something in your past, you do know that you need to sacrifice now. You need to kind of let that go. It's not serving any purpose for you anymore. It's a bit like, you know, that one toy or that one book that a child has and they're like addicted to it. It's like their thing. They've always had it. But there's a point they get to where they've grown out of it and they don't really play with it anymore or want it anymore. I feel like that's where you're at right now. So this is what the Hanged Man is telling you. Is sort of like, how long are you going to leave yourself suspended in space because of this thing that you can't let go of? It's holding you back from what is coming in for you and embracing the new. And I feel like this energy with you is like your heart center feels like it's opening up to a newness, to something coming in that's new. You're kind of entering an energy of accepting it more because you have grown on a spiritual sense, but you're trying to just understand what that is and why it's there. That's what I'm feeling from that one. Now, interestingly, for your strengths, we had 2 cards come out. Now, this happened the other night. We got 2 cards up in a couple of areas. Now, the 2 cards that came out for your strengths are Strength itself and the 8 of Wands. Now, what I found really interesting about this is that they are both 8s. Strength is number 8 in the Major Arcana, and obviously the 8 of Wands is an 8. Now, the strength here is showing quite a fast, courageous energy. Somebody here wants balance. You want balance in your spiritual and your material world. That's come up so many times with different cards on here. You want a positive result. And this is a quick and decisive action. So it's kind of like, you know, moving in a way, but with strength there, balancing it out. So it's like, this is quick, this is direct, this is hasty, but this is also having compassion, having a little bit of lust and animal instinct as well. So there might be an energy there of sort of like wanting to rush in because you want something, but at the same time, it's kind of like, well, no, go in with, you know, this attitude of wanting peace, wanting balance. Okay, so I think the 8 of Wands came out with this one to kind of balance out that animal magnitude that seems to be going on there, because it does feel like perhaps there is an energy of lusting and you're trying to figure out, is this lust or is this love? That's what I'm getting from this, and the fact that there were 2 cards and the want for this balance of the spiritual and material. Is it love or is it lust? But you do feel very drawn to heading towards this, to moving towards it. So I'm going to pick just one rune to go with this right now, because they are both related anyway. What do we have? We have the rune of trust. This is Ingwas. So Ingwas is all about having trust. So you are in a position right now, your strength is about making action. There's good news involved with that with the 8 of Wands. It's asking you to strive forward, to take action in this current situation towards your 10 of Cups, towards what you're looking for, and trust in the process. Trust that this is a good outcome. Now, Ingwas also can represent union. It's a balance between the masculine and the feminine. And again, I feel like that's something that you've been working on within yourself, is balancing out your masculine and feminine. But I do feel like there's still a bit of an imbalance there. But this union is actually bringing you more balance, or it's making you recognize where the imbalances are. So there's a lot of healing, especially with the strength card in there. There's a lot of healing that is taking place within this connection. Maybe you're a healer, or maybe the other person's a healer, or perhaps you're both healers, but it does feel like that spiritual side of things is quite strong in this connection, and it's helping to balance out the material side of things. Maybe you do already, or are going to be working together in that sense, helping each other in that way. So your future, again, is a card that balances out the spiritual and the material. So it's a balance between alchemy. So the magician is all about alchemy. Can you see him there? He's sort of like mixing things together, working things out. Now, this can also represent, especially with the 10 of Cups as your current situation, this is about your wishes being granted. And as it's in the future as well, it's like what you're hoping for, what you're wishing for in this particular situation with this 10 of Cups, it is happening. It's already being manifested. You've already put the wheels in motion for this to manifest. So there's a very, very positive energy on there. And again, he's got the limniscat on the top of his head, which looks like a number 8. So there's a lot of that around. So maybe you've seen a lot of number 8s lately. Maybe number 8 is significant to you. And what rune do we have that goes with your future? And here we have answers. So there's a lot to do with communication, and it's also the breath of the gods. This is Odin's rune. So Odin observes. He observes humans, basically. He sends his ravens to Earth to keep an eye on us, to watch us, it's funny because there was a raven in that tree just before I started this reading that I felt really watched by. Now, this is an energy of really allowing truth to come out. It's really being open with that truth. So your future is alchemizing the spiritual and the material, and there's a lot of truth in it. There's a lot of truth around that. Just saw 1515 on the clock on there as well. If people are looking at angel numbers, which you might be, perhaps you're interested in things like that. I do see an energy of the pentagram, sorry. So it's kind of like, you know, the balance with earth, air, fire, water and spirit, the 5-pointed star. So perhaps that's important to you. Maybe somebody has a tattoo of that or is thinking of getting a tattoo of that. But again, it's bringing that balance of like the structure of everything coming together, bringing it together. And you are at this point where you are really listening to your guides, you're listening to spirit and what they're telling you. So you are communicating quite well with your spirit guides right now, but it's now time to express that communication into your physical world, into the material world. I just got Madonna stuck in my head then. So again, because I feel like this is to do with soulmates, love connections, in your advice, we have the Two of Cups, which again is a card of union, of coming together, being together. But this is in the advice area. This is about how you are treating people and how you are treating yourself. So what it's asking you to do here is to treat others as you would like to be treated yourself. Okay, so it's got an energy of that, but also speaking your heart. So the advice here is to allow what is in your heart to surface, to come out, to be heard, to really speak it so that you can be fully understood in this connection. Let's see what rune we have to go with that. Daggers. So yes, this is enlightenment. You've had a realization of this, that you do really need to speak your truth, because maybe there is somebody that you want to connect with and you want them to just understand on a telepathic level, and they do, because like we said before, you are in the dream time doing stuff together. You've got like a whole relationship going on in the dream time, but in the physical realm it feels like that hasn't quite took off yet, but there is a plan for that to happen. And daggers is this enlightenment that's kind of allowing you to understand, like, this is what I want, this is where I want to be. And things are being illuminated to you. You are becoming enlightened to what actually is right for you. Now, daggers is a daily cycle. It's a fast energy, and it also can help to break through illusions as well. There's something about time too, and I feel like maybe there's been an element of, it doesn't matter if it's been years, weeks, months between you and this person. When you're with them again, it just feels like it was yesterday or an hour ago or something like that. It feels like there was no time between you whatsoever. So that's a real, like, you know, deep connection. That's the kind of thing you get with best friends and soulmates, you know, somebody that's a real, not just a lover, but a friend, that you can, you know, feel like you can say anything to, and it's fine. There's no judgment. So again, that Two of Cups in the advice, treating others as you want to be treated yourself. So if that's what you're looking for in a person, then treat them that way, and they will treat you back that way. Okay, so it's treat others as they treat you and as you would like to be treated yourself. Now, in your environment was interesting because we've got the King of Cups, if I can pick it up, and he's in the reverse position. So this is somebody that is kind of suppressing emotion at the moment. So in your environment, you are having difficulty perhaps managing your emotions or understanding your emotions around this. And again, because we've got the Tower that came up as your challenge, maybe this has been a bit of a shock to you. Maybe you sort of like have just had an epiphany of how you feel about this situation or how you feel about this person. And you are reflecting on maybe your responses towards this person. Maybe you're reflecting on past conversations or things that have been said, and you're wondering like, oh yeah. It's a bit like those films, you know, where there's sort of like somebody liked somebody for years or whatever, and they never knew because they never spoke about it. And then suddenly this person gets into another relationship or something like that, and they suddenly start to realise how much that person means to them. And then there's this whole dynamic of like, oh, but they're with somebody else now and stuff like that. There's kind of this energy with this. It's sort of like, how long are you going to hold your emotions back? How long are you going to not communicate? Because in your near future, there is the element of, I do feel you are going to start to communicate that truth, because you are starting to alchemize the spiritual and the material realm. Like, you're learning a lot on the spiritual sense. You're learning a lot in your dream time. And that is starting to come through now into your material life, into your material world. Be interesting to see what rune we get from that. So what rune do we have that represents your environment at this time? We have Eros. This is trusting yourself in relationships. I will come to that in a moment as well when we look at your hopes and fears, because that's relevant as well. So Eros is about trust and relationships. The most important relationship you have is the relationship with yourself. Do you trust yourself? And if you can honestly say that you trust yourself, then you should have no problem in this connection. But I do feel for some of you that maybe there's been a trust issue in the past of trusting yourself. So you want to honour, and yeah, that's what it's telling us about on here. It's sort of like treating people how you want to be treated yourself. But I feel like maybe in the past you haven't treated others how you want to be treated yourself. And maybe vice versa, you haven't felt like you've been treated the way that others have treated you. So there's an element there of needing to really trust yourself in this situation. You know, allow yourself to really open up through your heart. If you've got a lot of fear around that, it's holding you back from really fully embracing and achieving this 10 of Cups that you're looking for. Because deep down, that's what you want. Deep down, you want this harmony in your relationships. You want to be able to have a divine connection, a soulmate. But what's blocking you is not being able to trust yourself in this connection. But this feels to me like nothing like you've ever experienced before. It's very different. It's got a spiritual level to it that perhaps other connections you've had have felt very surface level. They haven't had this kind of connection in there on a deeper level. And maybe that's what you're struggling with, because it's forcing you almost to open up emotionally. And maybe that's difficult for you. Maybe you're not used to doing that. Now, your hopes and fears. We have the Lovers in the reverse position. Now that to me suggests fear of commitment. Perhaps in the past you have trusted others and felt trapped, or felt manipulated, or just had the rug pulled from under you when you thought you were falling in love or falling into something that felt good for you. So again, it can also suggest that that lack of trust is what's holding you back in this connection, or in any connection that you want to go forward in love. The 10 of Cups that you're looking for, that is that harmony, and your fears are what's holding you back. Let's see if we can get a rune that might represent your hopes, perhaps, on here, because, you know, why is it just about fear? Okay, so algaes. So maybe the hope here is that you can set healthy boundaries. So again, coming back to the advice, if you treat people the way you want to be treated yourself, then there shouldn't really be an issue with trust. You set healthy boundaries. If a person, you know, kind of disrespect your boundaries and things like that, well, you know what to do now, don't you? You've grown enough to understand, okay, I set a boundary there and you overstep the mark. You know, you have a choice then whether you give that person a second chance, or if you say, do you know what, this isn't working for me. So that's up to you, that's your choice. But you can either protect yourself to the point where you're not going to allow yourself to even try with what this could actually potentially be, which feels like a real nice alchemy of spiritual and material wealth. Or you can just have a go at setting those boundaries and trusting yourself in this. Maybe set those boundaries with yourself as well. You know, honour yourself enough to understand where the boundaries need to be. And that could actually be a real element of growth for you. You know, this Tower here is kind of like suggesting an expansion, a time for really testing yourself to see, you know, what actually can I achieve? Can I go at things in a different way to achieve the outcome that I've always really wanted, that I've been looking for? You know, it's like, it comes back to any relationship we have. There's only one factor that is the same, and that's ourselves. So when you hear people talking about relationships where they've had this happen or that happen and this person and that person, you kind of have to look at, okay, so you've had all these situations that have been rubbish, but who's the main factor in this? So what is it about you that is attracting this towards you, you know? Or maybe what could you change about yourself so that you're attracting something that's aligned more with what you really want or how you want to be? And there's always two people in a relationship. Yeah, it's never one-sided. It's never one person is all bad and one person is all good. It's, you know, an alchemy, a chemistry. And all you can do in any relationship is be yourself, be true to yourself, and honor the person that you're with by showing them your truth and your authenticity, and treating people how you want to be treated yourself. Okay, so this brings us to your outcome now, which was interesting. I wasn't expecting this to come out as the outcome. I was expecting it to be something a little bit more fantastic than this. Which I don't mean that it's not fantastic, but it's not what I was expecting. So the Seven of Cups is all about choices and sometimes illusion as well. So I do feel that you haven't quite made up your mind yet. You're not quite sure. So the outcome is flexible. It's unsure. But what Spirit's asking you to do with this is basically saying, like, it is time to make a choice. It's time to make a decision. It's time for you to go, right, I'm going to take action now, and this is the way that I'm going. See, he's pointing to a particular cup, but he's looking worried about it. But, you know, you've got strength here. You've got the Eight of Wands, which is good luck. It's good news coming in. You've got the alchemy of the magician. You've got a lot of cards that are talking about the spiritual and the material alchemy, okay? You always have a choice. We always have free will, and you can decide, once you've made a choice, you can even break that choice, you know? So you're not tied in. There's no binding contract. Well, unless you sign something, but that's entirely up to you. Yeah, I won't say that. So what is the potential best outcome for you? What would you really like? So from watching this video today and looking at these things, that you know this is something that's going on in your life right now, what is the best outcome that you can imagine? And if it's that 10 of Cups image on there, then these are the things that you need to do. These are the things you need to do. So let's see what your rune outcome is on there. What's that one? Okay, I'm going to pick this up because I can't seem to... The bag has come open again. I need to do it up. Athala. Nice. Athala is a rune of stability in family and relationships. It's also about understanding our inherent gifts. So like things that we've inherited from our ancestors, from our family line. There does feel to me like maybe that's what's holding you back, is a fear of being like maybe your parents or your family members or something. There's an element of that within you, but you have to remember it's sort of like you aren't your ancestors, you aren't your parents, you are you, and you can make a decision. And if you don't want to be like your parents, if you don't want to go down the same road as that they did, then you have that choice and you can make that decision. You're an adult, you can do this. I hope you're an adult anyway, because these videos are supposed to be for adults. So Athala, this is your chance to really feel grounded, feel connected, feel safe in a particular situation. It is bringing together. So if you look at it, it's kind of the energy, it's the same as Ingwas, that's trust, okay? And then the bottom bit there is Gebo, which is giving and receiving in balance. It's the gift from the heart. So those two combined, that's what you're looking for deep down. That's what you've been asking about. That's why you're watching these videos, because you want to know, you want to be able to make this choice, this decision. And Spirit is saying to you, it's time. It's time for you to make that choice, make that decision. What are you waiting for? What's stopping you? Ask yourself this. If you don't go for this now and this person moves on, like I said before about like, you know, those films where the person moves on or whatever and it's like, oh no. How would you feel? Are you okay with that? Or would you feel like, I never really gave that a shot? I never really gave it a chance to figure out whether that was for me or not. And again, with the Seven of Cups, you've always got the choice. You've always got a chance to change your mind. Same with the Lovers. The Lovers is about choices as well. But in the reverse position, it's about having a fear of committing to something because maybe you would like to make choices again later on. Well, if that's the case, then you need to honour and respect that person in the fact of, like, you know, treating somebody how you want to be treated yourself. Just tell them about it. Communicate. Let them know. Nothing is ever set in stone, but don't hold yourself back from living your life and doing what you want to do for fear of what might happen. Now, if you would like to further this reading, then please do get in touch for a personalised reading. If you haven't already, please do like and subscribe to my channel. I'd love to hear your thoughts on how you found this reading. Yeah, please do get in touch. Like and subscribe if I haven't already said that, but I think I might have done. And have a blessed evening. Blessed be.